Part 87. After my death, the villain blackened again. Author, Ben Gongwei Pang. Chapter 869. This was not asked. Yanj said, "Brother, in fact, you look good, and smile a lot in the future. If you don't work hard, many girls will chase you." Lauser finally said, "How about you?" Yan Ji didn't respond for a moment. What did he mean by this? Did you and Han Yi first chase him? Yan Ji nodded and shook his head. It's more complicated between the two of us, maybe it is. What is a bit complicated? That talk looked like she was taller than him and countless grades. A boyfriend who has just been identified for less than 3 months, where can it be complicated? She even went after her, didn't she know the girl's hold? Most of the girls who are chased by men are not attentive to their hearts. They have a mentality of not eating and eating for nothing. Why is she so stupid? Luo Fei felt that she would need to teach her the right way to fall in love in the future. After going downstairs, as soon as I got out of the gate, I saw the man who called earlier suddenly hugged Yanj. Luo Fei responded quickly, pushed his hand away, and rushed up to stamp his feet. Yanj hurriedly grabbed his arm. Brother, he is not a bad person, I came out to see him." Luo Fei didn't expect Yan Ji to talk to such people at this time. He was a boyfriend. He even met someone in private. He was really angry, even if it's not a bad thing, I will see you at the first sight. I want to hug you, it's definitely not a good thing. The man had stood beside Yanj again, and explained to Luo Fei hurriedly, Brother, I'm not a bad person, I'm Qingming's boyfriend, I came to propose to Qingming." He said this, already kneeling in front of Yanj on one knee. "I do nt know where to take out the diamond ring," and handed it to Yanj. "Qingming, will you marry me? Will you give me a chance? This time I will take care of you, will never be separated from you all your life." Luo Fei's eyelids jumped. Is this her boyfriend? Another little white face? How many boyfriends does she have? How many boats have you peddled? And her vision is too bad, these two men are obviously not good. Yan Ji stared at the person kneeling on the ground with a soft voice. "Mei Yuan, what I said, it's over between us, you get up, let's talk about the conversation, if you are like this, I will gone." Luo Fei's heart was slightly relaxed, but she was always her own sister, knowing the size. What a bad name, even $1, his sister did not like Kong Gyang Mei since childhood. The man named Mei Yuan did not get up, so he looked up. Babo looked at the words, "Qingming, I have thoroughly figured out, I really love you, I really like you, Qingming, I marry you, well, please give me a chance." Luo Fei couldn't bear it, he was about to push him away. A figure suddenly came in the distance, and by the time Luo Fei saw it was Yan Ji's little white-faced boyfriend, the man was already playing with the dollar. Great dog biting dog. Luo Fei held Yanj's hand in time, took a few steps back and protected Yanj behind him. That hand was so strong that it was clear that Yanj wouldn't let it go for fun. Fortunately, the people behind him didn't even think about getting together. But immediately, he heard Han Yi scold the man, "What face do you have to meet Qingming? Do you know how sad she was at that time? Because of you, she can't be a mother in her life." Grass, this guy is that ex-boyfriend? Luo Fei's sleeves also joined the battlefield. After my death, the villain blackened again. Author, Ben Gongwei Pang. Chapter 870. Yan Song busily went to lollify, but also failed to hold. Before cracking, the three of them stopped tacitly before alarming others. The dollar has been beaten, and his face is swollen, but even so, after he got rid of Luo Fei and Han Yi, he looked forward to the song for the first time. "Qingming, he's such a little idiot, can't protect you at all. You give me good chance together, you do not want to return to China, I will not force you, I will often go abroad to see you. Yan Ji ignored her words. She quickly walked to Luo Fei's side, and while checking to see if Luo Fei was injured, she was sad and caught Luo Fei's corner. Go, Luo Fei yelled at the US$, and turned her head to look at her. She wanted to comfort her, and then whispered her guiltless voice, I'm sorry, I'm bothering you, tomorrow I will just move away. What is this nonsense? Although her voice was small, the two also heard it, like a dog, and stood obediently in front of her. One said, Brother, it's my fault. It has nothing to do with Qingming. You, don't blame her. Another said, Brother, I shouldn't take the liberty to come to your house. If you get angry, hit me. Don't blame Qingming. Luo Fei ignored these two little white faces. He took Yan's hand and turned to enter the building. Yang pulled him away. She said, Brother, since I met them today, I want to talk to them. So a group of 4 people went to the nearest cafe and went in. The two little white-faced robbers had to pay first, and Luo Fei watched coldly, only to find it ridiculous. When I got to the position, Yang spoke first, I'm in this condition now, you two should be clear. I don't want to drag you down, and I don't want to become an enemy with gritting teeth when you meet in the future. Don't force me. Make a decision. Then I looked at Han Yi, I'm sorry, the thing that hurt you most is you. If you can, I really don't want to do this, but now that it's like this, it's no use saying sorry. I will give you a year to consider if 1 year later, you still want to marry me, then we will get married. Han Yi was surprised and nodded again and again, okay, Qingming, don't worry, let alone 1 year, it will be 10 years and 100 years, my feelings for you will not change. The dollar on the side was black-faced, and Luo Fei narrowed his eyes, and was very indifferent at the bottom of his heart. He gave Yang face, although he felt that her words were not right, the two little white faces, where she needed to feel guilty to them, but did not interrupt her. After drinking the coffee and breaking up, Luo Fei did not leave a song for a minute, and naturally she would not give her the current little white face the opportunity to chat with her and hold people directly. After returning home, he wasn't even in the mood to cook, and asked Yang, the one named Han Yi, is a clueless boy. I knew that she lived at the bottom and didn't know any good people. Seeing that his face was gloomy, Yang said quickly, Han Yi is still a student, not a little foolish, don't you think about it? Can't think much about it? She was stunned by such an irresponsible dollar, and she would soon be stunned by a scumbag. Luo Fei thought about it. The most uncomfortable thing was that, not long after, Luo Fei found out that the resident opposite him had moved away, and the young man who relocated was her incumbent little white face. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. After my death, the villain blackened again. Author, Ben Gong Wei Pang. Chapter 871. No wonder she cooked a lot of delicious food during this time. Luo Fei also thought that the progress of the song was rapid. It turned out that a Tian Luo girl ran into the house. No, it's a bad heart. I want to buy him a little after a few meals. Do you think his brother is a bastard? Although Luo Fei was angry and defended against the sun and night, he had to go to work by himself. He simply installed a camera in front of his house and connected his mobile phone. When I'm okay after work, I stare at the camera. In the past, I squatted in the toilet and looked at the mobile phone to look at the stock. Every time that little white face entered his house for 3 minutes, he immediately called Yang. Later, he noticed that the two of them were standing at the door and chatting. Sometimes, Xiao Balian would move 2 rocking chairs from the room and put them in the hallway. The two would lie down, each holding a computer, probably playing a game. Although there was no physical contact, Kalofi looked really dazzling. No matter how dazzling it is, Luo Fei will not give a good face when he sees a small white face after work. He felt that he wanted to tear her apart with this little white face without a trace. You have to find something for her. So after a dinner, Luo Fei mentioned it euphemistically. He had a front desk in the small company he started and asked her to try it. Yan Ji heard the words a little surprised. Brother, I still have my own job, I don't have time to do the kind of work that runs from 9 to 5. Luo Fei did not let her this time. What kind of work is such a joke? He never saw her go to work, and he was chatting with the little boy on the other side every day. Your work salary is too low, the front desk work is leisure, and the salary is quite high. It is not that much trouble and free, and the boss will not care about you. Brother, how much is it? Luo Fei arbitrarily said the number. The front desk salary was not that high, but the rest he subsidized her, and thought he was attractive enough. I didn't expect the woman around to chuckle, the salary is too small. Luo Fei glared at her. How much do you pay each month? Yan Ji tilted his head and thought, my salary is not fixed. Did not say much money. Luo Fei was really angry, but still patiently said, Qingming, you are not young anymore, you can't live like this. He talked more than usual, and spoke for more than half an hour. Yanj finally couldn't bear it. He opened his salary card to the account every month and looked at Luo Fei. Luo Fei stared for a while. Aren't you a typist? Why is it so much money every month? Songs are weak, I am a novelist. It took only a long time for Luo Fei to reflect the meaning of these words. It wasn't that he demeaning the sister in front of him. He couldn't connect her with the writer by any means. What I wrote, let me see. Yanj stared at him. Do you really want to watch? Luo Fei focused on the head. Yes, I read and read your masterpiece, so to make money, your brother and I want to change careers. Yan Ji pointed his novel to him. Luo Fei watched the middle of the night and knocked on the door while Yanj was asleep. The sleepy words glared at Luo Fei. Brother, is there anything wrong? Luo Fei, are you writing a little Huangwen? Words, well. Luo Fei, this kind of thing will harm young people, and it will be severely cracked down in China. Yan Ji's voice was faint. Brother, do you want to kill me and report to me? Luo Fei. After my death, the villain blackened again. Author, Ben Gongwei Pang. Chapter 872. Luo Fei certainly did not mean that. Mainly, the one she wrote, most of it was siblings, and it was so yellow and white, he just had a very awkward feeling in his heart. But it cannot be expressed. Seeing that she was fine, she didn't seem to think it was a thing. He didn't know how to point out even if she thought there was something wrong with her three views on the text. After staring at Yanj for a moment, Luo Fei returned to his room silently. He had a rare wedding bed tonight. On the second day, I concluded that Xiao Huangwen did harm to people. He must bring her back to the right path from the young Huangwen. This is her intangible destruction of the motherland's youth, and the innocence of the motherland's flowers. He made up his mind, but he didn't mention it to the table for several days. He can only list a lot of truths when he is not busy, trying to remember them one by one, so as not to lose the chain at a critical moment. Luo Fei used to live alone. When Yanj first lived in, he was slightly accustomed to it, but now, he really likes the life of two brothers and sisters having a warm dinner and sitting together watching TV. Very calm and very cozy. In the past 4 years, she has suffered a lot. She is more sensible and quieter than before. She is noisier and less talkative than before. Gradually, Luo Fei changed from a silent person to a facilitator, and the topic was often mentioned by him, leading her down. I also knew that when she first came abroad, she could not find a job because she didn't speak a foreign language, so she didn't dare to spend money, so she was afraid that the money would be spent. She had talked about 4 or 5 boyfriends before her boyfriend's ex-boyfriend, all of whom died without problems. Her explanation for this is, I have experienced too much and feel that I am too old and too old. Every time I fall in love with them, I always have the feeling that I can't keep up with young people and can only break up. She is only 20 years old. With this kind of thought, he thought, probably because the shadow the old man gave her was too big. Even though she looks good on the surface, she has low heart or low self-confidence. So Luo Fei always tried to comfort her, tried to reverse her three views, and cultivated her other hobbies. For example, she took her to his studio, which no one dared to enter, and then traced her to her strengths with unreliable traces. This sister, he ignored it for the first 20 years, after that, he hoped she had a bright avenue. At last, when he was talking hotly, he said that she should change careers, and stop writing such kind of gentle things. Instead of refuting him as he imagined, she said, "Brother, I won't write that anymore, I'm writing now." What kind of stuff? Listening to the tall and big looks, Luo Fei was relieved, and after searched. He hummed, reaching for the apple on the coffee table, and her hand was also stretched out at this time. The two hands touched briefly, and her fingertips were slightly hot, as if they were carrying an electric current. Into his body, Luo Fei's head was empty, and he forgot all that beauty. It was probably too hot, he thought, and after a while, he would take her to play somewhere else, and by the way avoid the heat. But it didn't take long for Luo Fei to feel comfortable, and a fierce conflict broke out between the two. When Luo Fei was watching surveillance in the bathroom, she found that she and the little white face kissed at the door. "This is okay." Luo Fei immediately called and was annoyed. After my death, the villain blackened again. Author, Ben Gong Wei Pang. Chapter 873. At the beginning, Yanj tried to explain that she and Hanyi were in a normal relationship. It was normal to kiss and hold a small hand. Those who do kiss and hold hands are still called couples. A fuss like him is abnormal. Luo Fei was annoyed. What made him abnormal? From childhood to old age, only she and the old man were the most abnormal. But he couldn't say anything. He only took out his brother's posture and warned her severely. Yan Ji shouted angrily, "You are not my brother, you care about what I do so much, I just kissed my boyfriend, you just go on the line, is it in your heart, I am a watery poppy woman." The words sang and hung up the phone. When Luo Fei was staring at the camera, he took the broom and poked the camera on the ground. This woman. Luo Fei was so angry that she smoked her nostrils, and she felt very cold when she thought of the allegations he had made unnecessarily. She really blamed her, but she didn't report well, so she was accused of this. Mad. He simply stopped calling her. I was paralyzed in the seat in the afternoon, completely wondering what I was thinking. It wasn't until the evening that Luo Fei returned home. To his surprise, the woman's room was clean, but people were gone. Her most precious computer and cosmetic bag are also in the shadow. Luo Fei thought that the song went to the opposite side, and immediately knocked on the opposite door. How many times, but nobody opened the door opposite. He suddenly remembered that the little white face across had put a spare key in the key bowl at his door and was busy looking for the key to open the door. The room across was clean, no one, and no computer bag or makeup bag. This woman, Bachan, went back to the place where she lived with Xiaobalian again. Luo Fei was so angry that he wanted to vomit blood. She just called her again, but she didn't answer. For a moment, Luo Fei was so angry that he wanted to smash the phone. Rushed into her room and watched it again. Everything was organized together, and the clothes he bought for her were still in the closet. She didn't take away anything except the computer bag and makeup bag. Luo Fei didn't have dinner. He sat on the sofa and stared at the TV that didn't turn on. At this time of the day, her laughter was everywhere in the room. At this moment, it was really deserted to the extreme. He wanted to find her, but felt that he was really hot on the cold ass. If I don't go to her, I'm in a terrible mood. Luo Fei did not go to her in the end. He tried to ease the relationship. I apologized to her first in the microchat and made it clear that I was a little bit misconducted as my brother for the first time. The author also used various analogies to analyze the various bad conditions for girls after the relationship between men and women. He felt that he had regressed enough. But she never responded to him. He was so angry that he didn't want to deal with it anymore. But after a few days, he couldn't help but asked her when to return in YKO, and asked her to say in advance that he would cook a lot of food at night. However, it is still sinking into the sea. Luo Fei gradually came to the end, and no longer took care of her patients. Until more than a month later, she sent him an invitation in a microchat, "Brother, I'm getting married, remember to come by then." Didn't she say she would marry that little white face 1 year later? What kind of nerve is this? Just because he got angry with him and got married, does this still have a little adult brain? You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. After my death, the villain blackened again. Author, Ben Gong Weipang. Chapter 874. Luo Fei was really upset at this moment. When he opened the invitation, he seemed to be shocked and froze. The man's name on the invitation is not someone else, but the old man. How is the old man? Just marry that little bastard. What about the old man on the invitation? Luo Fei immediately called her, but the call was transferred to the old man. Before he talked, the old man said, "I and Ming are going to get married. I know you do NT like Ming. If you want to come, do NT come and do NT mess up. I've been like this once in my life. Obviously, if you chase it back, you'd better take it easy and destroy Laozi's sexual blessing. Laozi and you are desperate." For the first time, Luo Fei was so angry that she smoked in her nostrils, and she lost her old sense. "How old is it, your old ox? What kind of tender grass did she get? What did she do? Are you going to ruin her forever? You. Why are you so stingy?" Before Luo Fei finished talking, the call was hung up. Immediately after, several short messages came on the phone. It's all notifications that the old man's card was stopped. Damn, this old undead guy. Luo Fei continued to call. The call was still transferred to the old man. I was hung up on the phone once, and I knew that now that I can't hydrolyze the near thirst. Luo Fei just calmly talked to the old man. "Qingming is still small, you marry her, you are not afraid of your old friends joking you don't be afraid to be pointed at her? If you really like Qingming, you shouldn't do it. When you have a woman you like, you can come and talk to me about this kind of thing." Luz hung up his son again. Tomorrow is the day to get married. Although there is a little rush in time, Luo Zi has money. If the money goes down, someone will help him to do anything. At this moment he was lying on the bed, and he felt a cigarette from the bed and bit his mouth. It's a fake cigarette. Since the song came back, Lors quit smoking. Many people say that it is particularly difficult to quit smoking, but he feels that quitting is much easier than quitting the Qingming woman. Luo Fei was just anxious to book a ticket to go back, but it wasn't that he was away whenever he wanted to. By the time he returned, the wedding reception had already begun. The groom was greeting the guests, and the bride was waiting for Kyrgyz to appear. He asked where the bride was, and rushed into the house where Yanj was located. In the room, she wore a pure white wedding dress and sat on the bed. Eyebrows lowered, quiet. Beauty is like a lotus flower floating on the water, blue sky and white clouds, green mountains and green water. This lotus beauty is dazzling. But when he looked into his eyes, he felt only heartache. He walked over and took her hand. "Walk with me and leave here." Yan Ji sat still without moving, looking up at him. Where to go? Luo Fei would drag her off the bed. Go wherever you want, and I'll take you away. Yanj stretched out his hand and pinched his finger. Luo Fei, thank you, but this marriage was brought up by myself. She looked at Luo Fei in surprise, and said calmly. She continued, Lao Tzu went to perform a ligation operation when I returned to China. He wrote a notarized certificate. In his lifetime, there can only be a woman. The other women were infected and went out of the house. After my death, the villain blackened again. Author, Ben Gong Wei Pang. Chapter 875. Confused and angry at Luo Fei, his words were flat and he said, Luo Fei, I have been trying to get rid of the shadow he gave me for the past 4 years. I have talked with many boyfriends, and each one I tried. As they grow older, there will always be various changes. The more they experience it, the more they find out. In fact, men are the same in the final analysis. Age and skin are just camouflage. There is essentially nothing in it. The difference. Yan Ji slightly raised his eyes and smiled at him. Sorry, my choice will disappoint you, but I'm tired and don't want to toss anymore. Thank you. She lowered her eyes slowly, her voice solemn, and said, Brother, thank you. The knock on the door sounded at this time, and the words were startled, and he immediately looked at Luo Fei. Can you hide it, me? I don't want others to misunderstand. Luo Fei did not understand her thinking at all. He felt that her mind was the same as her chest. It had been white for many years. He gritted his teeth and said, You and I go. The door was locked by him, and no one outside could enter. Yanj suddenly got up and pushed Luo Fei under the bed. Say it later, okay, you hide it first. Also, if the grass is frightening the snake now, the old man might not be prepared for it, and he won't let him leave so easily. Although Luo Fei was unwilling, he lay down under the bed. The bed was large, but it was not large underneath, because there were already 2 men in it. The bottom of the bed was cool, and the 3 guys were just able to gather together a table of landlords, but at this time they had their own thoughts, and each of them was in a bad mood. Even if they saw each other, they did not say hello, let alone fight the landlord together. Yanj opened the door. What was unexpected was that her first love was her boyfriend, Zhao Tian. With a burly figure and a male masculinity, Zhao Tian thought for a moment that he was a thug from the old man. She hadn't had time to ask. Zhao Tian held her tightly in her arms. Xiao Mingming, I'll take you out of here. Well, the only one who called her Xiao Mingming was Comrade Xiao Shanation. Yanj hurriedly pushed him away and closed the door again. Then he said, Today is my wedding day. Where can I leave? I haven't seen you for a long time. You are so tall. Are you here to bless me? Zhao Tian, I'll take you away, leave here, the 2 of us will go high and fly together. After a pause, he was wronged and said, You didn't call me last time when you left alone, this time I won't leave you. Yanj ashamed, Xiao Shanation, today is the day I marry, and we ended 4 years ago, don't do this. Zhao Tian held her in her arms again. I know that you ran away from home because of me. Xiao Mingming, I couldn't protect you before, I will take good care of you in the future, don't marry that bad old man. Yan Ji didn't struggle to push him away this time. She lifted her head slightly and looked at his tough and sunny eyebrows. Xiao Shanation, I'm sorry, I don't like you anymore, marrying a bad old man is my own wish. If you come to bless me today, I will be very happy, especially happy. At this time, the knock on the door rang again. As soon as Yanj pushed Zhao Tian, Don't spoil my wedding, okay, a woman will do it once in a lifetime. I don't want my wedding to be a joke in a lifetime. If you really like me, bless me. Between words, he pushed Zhao Tian to the bottom of the bed. This is all right, 4 men, a table of mahjong. After my death, the villain blackened again. Author, Ben Gongwei Pang. Chapter 876. The chicks and Zhu screamed in excitement. Would, do you want to slap with 5 men tonight? The host must be especially fond of this green hat. Yanj didn't speak. She went to open the door. The makeup artist was there to help Yanj make up. Several bridesmaids invited by the old man also came in to accompany Yanj to speak. The chicken said a few words in excitement, and suddenly sighed in relief. Of the 4 men under the bed, which one is better than Luozi? Is the host hanged on such a tree? Yanj, she didn't have a chance to choose another man before. The host used to be like a bird imprisoned in a cage. Every move of her will be followed by lows, and even her character is tuned up by lows. The host chose Luozi not because of how much she loved it, but because her vision was limited to Luozi's body, and she had no choice. Even if there is an opportunity to fulfill his wish, the host can't see the beautiful world except Lowe's. Naturally, the wish is limited to Lowe's. Yanj wasted time turning such a big bend, and now it is back to the origin of the host's wish. In fact, she just wanted to show the host that the outside world is wonderful, and the men outside are also very rich. No one is worse than Luozi. There is no need to hang herself on this man. Host, will you understand? The words are also uncertain. Yanj excuses want to be alone for a while, so that the bridesmaids have gone outside. Waiting for someone to leave, the 4 men who did not wait for the bottom of the bed all crawled out, and Yanji straightly picked up his wedding dress and sat cross-legged on the ground. Looking down, you can see the 4 heads under the bed. It's like suckling swallows waiting to be fed, one by one, with a good look. Of course, the main thing is that Huan Feiyan is different, but each one is very pleasing to the eye. Yanj held back and didn't reach out and touch the 4 black heads. She coughed, motioned these guys to be calm, and then said to them, I made up my mind to get married and live a good life. Whoever dares to destroy my wedding and make me lose face, I will die. Let me show you. The fierce threat was over, and at the end he mumbled and added, anyway, there is no such thing as death, there is no difference between life and death. The 4 were not scared by her threats, but were surprised by her last sentence. Where else would they dare to take other actions? One by one, I want to talk, and the words are swept away, and I say, you have too many people. It's so eye-catching to go out. Just hide in it for a while. Is it cold? Would you like me to take the blanket? Come. Imagine a picture of 4 men covered with a big quilt. Suddenly, writing the song of felt that the picture was quite loving. Quilts are certainly not needed. The 4 guys were nestling under the bed, and all of them didn't want to talk to the people around them, all of them opened their ears and listened to the movement outside. They watched as Lowe's walked into the door with a lot of people, and took the brides back with a drink from everyone. The girlfriend is about to get married, and the groom is not me. Although the 4 men are all in the same state of mind, they have no intention of crying together. They climb out of the bed, no one cares about them, and turns to go outside. Zhao Tian, my first love is obviously $. I'm obviously the first child to dad. Han Yi, I am the one who clearly cuts off all love and wants to hold hands for a lifetime. Luo Fei, hello, I'm your eldest brother. And Kinky is embarrassing to me again. I'm so lucky today. Didn't you release water to me? Everyone, big brother, please pamper your flop. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. After my death, the villain blackened again. Author, Ben Gongwei Pang. Chapter 877. Yanj and Lu's wedding went very smoothly. Even the son of Luz, who had been talked about by the outside world, came back to attend the wedding banquet, and sincerely sent his blessing to the father of Luz. Because of this, those who want to watch the lively Luo family and gossip reporters are also half-hearted. Luo Fei didn't stay too much at the wedding. He was really uncomfortable. He couldn't pretend to smile. After showing a blessing to her, he left the country that night by plane. After running for 3 days in a row, the whole person was as tired as being run over by the car several times. Even if he was lying on the seat with his eyes closed, he couldn't fall asleep. The body is tired, but the heart is more tired. In her mind, it was all about her. He actually took a psychology course after going abroad. But even so, he still couldn't understand why she married the old man. Her 2 little white faces, even if disgusting, were much better than the old man. Why did she have to choose the old man? Luo Fei couldn't figure it out, so she felt more regretful. If it had been a month ago, if that day he hadn't angered her because of those little things. If he could contact her in time to find her, instead of betting, he wouldn't be today. At that time, why didn't he think that she was taken away by the old man? His shoulder was poked, and Luo Fei opened his blindfold and took a look. It was one of her ex-boyfriends, Han Yi. Han Yi's nose was swollen, as if he had been pinched. Luo Fei didn't need to guess and thought, it must be that the dollar and the guy had bitten the dog again, but it was really naive. When I think about it like this, she is even more sad. Even if she chooses Han Yi, she is always better than the old man. Han Yi sat beside Luo Fei and shouted, "Brother! Don't call me brother, I'm not your brother." Han Yi bowed his head. Oh. Probably afraid of Luo Fei, he looked down at her wedding photos on the phone, and no longer talked to Luo Fei. These photos should be taken by Han Yi secretly. But even if it was a sneak shot, she was still beautiful in the camera. Luo Fei stared at the pictures and never turned his head again. Probably it was that Luo Fei was staring at the photo on her mobile phone. Han Yi said without looking up, "Qingming is the most beautiful girl I have ever met. When I met her for the first time, she also sat on the plane, I was sleeping while wearing a blindfold." Luo Fei did not want to listen to his memories. He interrupted Han Yi, "What happened that day? How did Qingming return to China?" Han Yijin stared at the song on the screen of the mobile phone held by Luo Zi, and stared, his tears overflowed into his eyes and filled his face. "Yes, Mr. Luo said that if she didn't go back, she would make my house bankrupt." He said later that he cried even more, "Qingming only married Mr. Luo for my sake. I couldn't protect her." Luo Fei stared at this little white face. He took back all his previous thoughts. If he wasn't on the plane, he would have to beat the guy again. So she was completely threatened when she married the old man? She said she was tired and wanted to live a quiet life, all shit. Luo Fei was so angry and even more regretful. He should go home early that day, and he should always look for her instead of letting things go. After my death, the villain blackened again. Author, Ben Gong Wei Pang. Chapter 878. But now, everything is late. Luo Fei remembered the words the old man and him said in the room after the wedding reception. Fei, thank you for coming today. You have always been a bit stubborn about it. I know you don't like her very much, but I hope you can see in my face that you don't have any opinion on her anymore. She was my choice woman, I have to go on with me in this life. I hope you can respect her. Even if you can't call her mother, you can respect her as an elder. The old man hasn't had any other women in these 4 years, and he has been looking for her crazy. No one knew better than Luo Fei how old the old man was in her obsession. But is the old man a good home for her? Luo Fei didn't know. He was in a mess. He always felt that his internal organs seemed to be on fire, but he didn't understand where the fire came from. Although he knew he didn't like himself, when he got off the plane, Han Yi plucked up courage and asked to talk to Luo Fei. To his surprise, Big Brother added him. This is really a good start. Han Yi thinks that Yang is marrying a bad old man entirely because of him, so he puts his future goals in saving Yanj in fire and water. Because of this, Luo Fei had been abroad for 2 years, so she learned all the news from her small white face here. In the eyes of outsiders, what she had done was really good. The old man spoiled her as a queen. Whenever she needed anything, she would hold it in front of her. She was sick and hospitalized, and the old man was the first person to wait. The novel she wrote was made into a net drama with the help of the old man. Oh, the man starring is her ex-boyfriend, the guy named Dollar. I heard that when she was filming a web drama, because she was the director with full responsibility, she also had numerous scandals with the Dollar. The press conference held by the old man himself said that he believed his wife would not do that kind of thing. When Han Yi said these things, he could not wait to fly back to China and exchange with the US dollar. Although Luo Fei did not respond to those snorings of Han Yi, his thoughts were a bit erratic. She now sees a bumper harvest for business families in the eyes of outsiders. Is she happy? Is she happy? Will she still call his brother again? Luo Fei did not continue to stay abroad. Although he was young, his career was always on the rise. Staying abroad is beneficial to him, but he has enough here. Luo Fei greeted the old man before returning home. The old man asked him if he would go home or live outside. He originally intended to live outside, but when asked by the old man, the ghost sent the gods away and said he would go home. Back home, she and the old man still live on the 2nd floor, and he lives on the 3rd floor. Imagine the days of looking down and not looking up. Her first online drama worked well, and now she is preparing for the second one. The old man said that she has been busy lately and hasn't had time to sleep. After a while, he will take the time to clean up his return to China. She was really busy. Most of the time she got up late and returned home. It was only 3 or 4 o'clock in the middle of the night that he heard the car ring. After opening the curtains a little, she was drunk by the old man. She is not the same as before. She wears everything, everything is luxury. He has seen the news about her countless times.